You know, one of the things that I'm sure bugged a lot of fans that watched the original Filmation He-Man and She-Ra series is the fact that there was a lot of friends, allies, and even even enemies, excuse me, there that were clueless, if not oblivious, to the fact that both He-Man and She-Ra were also Adam and Adora. That basically He-Man and Adam were one and the same, and Adora and She-Ra were one and the same. And that you would think, with all the clues surrounding it. All the suspicious activity going on, disappearances of Adam and Adora, and then suddenly here comes He-Man and She-Ra, right after they leave. It's like you would think characters like Tila or Bo or Peekaboo, if you will, would be able to, figure it out. They'd be able to, be able to, put all the pieces of the puzzle together. But they don't. And, it's one thing when you have the sub-bosses not have a clue as to the fact that, their enemies that they're fighting against are actually the royal children of King Randor and Queen Marlena. That's one thing. But it's another when you have the guy that they answer to, Horde Prime, be oblivious. So to me, I think I think that is probably the most infuriating ordeal when it came to the original series. The fact that someone that's looked at as the most powerful out of anybody they faced, more powerful than Skeletor and Hordak combined, and the armies combined. You think, he would let on that he knows the truth about He-Man and She-Ra's identities as to who they really are. And thus, by having that knowledge, share it with Skeletor and Hordak, so that by basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically baptizing them with this knowledge, they'd be able to use it to their advantage to take over. Thus, by using this knowledge to take over, they could create distrust and tension within the folks of Eternia, within the ranks of the royal family and their allies, within the ranks of the rebellion on Etheria. Because here you would have basically two of the biggest, backstabbers in the eyes of those supposed friends and allies in He-Man and She-Ra, by, for the fact that they didn't trust them enough to let them know, hey, me and Adam are one and the same. Me and She-Ra are one and the same. To me, by, baptizing or basically gifting, Skeletor and Hordak with this knowledge, it would allow them to be able to take over. It would allow them to have an advantage, over their enemies, because they would know the secret. And by revealing it to the world, to, like I said, to the royal family and their allies on Eternia, and to the rebellion on Etheria, it would create drama and mistrust and tension. And it would tell a great story. And the lesson that they could put at the end, because they always like to do PSAs, the lesson at the end that they could put is the fact that is to never keep secrets away from those that you trust, or that you can trust us from the beginning. Never basically keep secrets from those you care about. And to me, again, it's so dumb that, yes, I understand it was a kid's show back then in the 80s, if you will, in the early to mid 80s. I should know. I grew up on it, watching it. But still, looking back on it as an adult now, it's really dumb that, Horde Prime, this powerful, entity, more powerful than, like I said, anything She-Ra and He-Man have faced combined, just by his warships, you would think he would have the knowledge as to who they really are, gift that knowledge to Skeletor and Hordak to use to take over both Eternia and Etheria in his name. But he didn't do that. But he never did that. In story, he never did that. In the show, I'm not sure about the comics. I'm sure that didn't happen there either. But in the show, you would think, especially if you want to really wrap up the entire Masters of the Universe run with She-Ra initially, you could have done that. You could have allowed it to come full circle by having, a 4, maybe 5-part finale where Horde Prime would reveal to Skeletor and Hordak the identities of He-Man and She-Ra, gift them with that knowledge so that they could share it with, like I said, those, those on Eternia and Etheria who thought they could trust She-Man and He-Ra, by revealing the truth about who they really are. The story writes itself. And then, like I said, the ending lesson, at the end of it, in the final part, at the end of the episode, if they wanted to do a PSA, writes itself about learning to trust and never to keep secrets or to lie. And it would work. It would work, in my opinion. So it's really stupid that they never went down that road. When they introduced Horde Prime as this big bad in the overall Masters of the Universe franchise, during She-Ra's run, as well as, connecting both shows because of that. I'm surprised they never went that route. Again, I can't say much for the comics because I never read the comics that much, but still, it really is like when you look back on it now as an adult, if you grew up in the 80s with it, it's really frustrating that he's supposed to be this powerful big bad, and yet he's oblivious, to the fact that He-Man is Adam and She-Ra is Adora, when him being this powerful, he should have that knowledge. It's really stupid when you look back on it. So hopefully, because the title Revelation is in the series title itself, hopefully that's one thing that they will address. And maybe that's why you have the tension and stuff going on that's talked about in the synopsis, because maybe it's going to be about regaining trust as well. Like, once, things get better, Teela will be like, look, you got your sword of power back, Adam, but no more secrets. No more secrets between us. Or something like that. So, to me, again, looking back at the original, it's kind of a plot hole that, although not really needing to be addressed, if you will, honestly, looking back on it, I think should have been addressed. And you know what? Maybe it was in the comics, but we'll never know. And maybe something was planned, but it was scrapped for an episode or a multi-parter, but we'll never know. But what do you guys think? Do you think, looking back at the original Filmation series, that it was dumb for them not to make Horde Prime, not aware of the identities of He-Man and She-Ra as Adam and Adora, and not gifting that, knowledge to his minions, Skeletor and Hordak? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think they should have at least done something about that? Or do you think it was good the way it was? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. Let me know what your thoughts are on the live chat. And I am out.